or I have experienced leadership from the perspective. I'm looking at leadership from the perspective of being it a calling, a purpose, or a ministry. You know, when it comes to leadership, we are all leaders in one way or another, driving your own life. You are the CEO of your life. What to do? Nobody knows you better than you because you have to sit by yourself and know what you want to do and all of that. That is leadership. So you need to know your purpose. You need to know your calling. Calling is different from ministry, which is very much different from, let's say, a healer. A healer, but the person works as an accountant. The person's ministry is like singing. So you see the person juggling 4 different things at the same time, and they are doing it so well. You wonder, do you even sleep? Yes, they do. Charity sleeps, Diane sleeps. It's part of the calling. Each and every one of us here do stuff. Jeremy has been to different conferences back to back, and I am so proud of the man he is becoming. And I know you've got a lot to go. Jeremy is one leader who is not backing up. He is pursuing his dreams, and I like that about him. We will say, know your temperament if you're vet or the vets. That's why they will tell you, know your vision and know your mission. What do you see? Where do you see yourself? Sometimes people joke about certain things on social media. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And then someone says, I can't even see myself in the next 5 minutes. How do I see myself in the next 5 years? There are certain jokes we do not want to associate ourselves with. Know your circle because they will help you. Knowing your circle because they will really, really help you. I don't see how you are in innovation, you want to innovate stuff, you want to grow your mindset, and you are still with someone who has no idea about what innovation is. Someone who has no idea about what challenging the status quo is. Leadership, young people, innovation is all about changing the narrative for the better, challenging the status quo, come what may. I have found myself in a lot of organizations where I have been the youngest, but then I have been given the opportunity to man a lot of affairs. Not because nobody knew, but because they saw that there was fresh blood, they saw that there was new ideas always popping up. So nobody was willing to be a stumbling block. And of course, if you are very stubborn like me, being a stumbling block is not something we've even seen as part of our challenges. That is not challenges we are looking at. Challenges is coming up with new things every day, making sure we navigate our way. Most of us don't care about someone being stubborn and not giving us the platform. We will create our own platforms, and people know that about most of us. So sometimes I always like young people to study the art of the product, the protocols of productivity. When I say the protocols of productivity, what I'm talking about is the fact that in an African society, I am narrowing it to Africa. In an African society, everything is programmed for us. You go to school, you write your BC, you go to secondary school, you write your you zoom into the university, you get first class marks, second upper, you're done. Then the challenge is coming. Then you don't know what to do. Then you don't know your left from your right. Then people like Diana are here, and then later on they'll come and ask, how of showing up is 100% of success, opportunities. You give it to them, they ask you, what young people are looking for money. Nobody gets money from the get-go. Nobody is doing that. Money will come. Work on yourself. So what I'm trying to say is that Africans and innovation is more like a typical African mother following a prophet. Nothing you tell them makes sense. No, let's do this. They don't get it. They don't support it. They don't do it. If it is political, they will be there. If it's not going to help the greater good, nobody cares about it. It's always a challenge. Yesterday, I had an argument with a very old man. I didn't care. I had to have that argument for him to understand that young people being innovative, young people venturing leadership to change the status quo, it's got nothing to do with disrespecting adults. It has got nothing to do with disrespecting adults. It doesn't mean we know so much. It just means that give us the avenue. Let us show you what we can do. And definitely you're not going to be impressed by it. But then the best you can do is to say, how can I support it? That's it. Because now most young people can come together and do one or two things. And then you will be amazed. And that is when they come up to say, well, I know that point in time, we don't care. We've been able to man up. We've been able to come together to do that. Now we have come to notice that desire is not just something innate, it is something you develop. You don't just wait for the desire to come up. You create that appetite for it. So the moment young people start creating an appetite for something good, something innovative, something that there is nothing you can do to change it, especially if they've seen the light and they've seen that this is what can help. Once they decide and they make up their mind and they are determined and they discipline themselves, they try to coach and mentor themselves, read books, explore, discover, they practice, assess, and start praying. Nothing you do will change their mind. That is something I sometimes let African adults study about. But then, of course, we live in a global world and we see opportunities here and there and we see them created for us. How do we become innovative? Diana says, Africa. I do not appreciate the fact that is it Esther? Esther said, well, it's Africa. That's a no, 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 no. We need to fight to the end. We need to actually fight to the end. When you start fighting, you don't get the support. But when somebody sees you and they like it, they're definitely going to join hands with you and they're going to do what's best. So I always, whenever I'm talking to young people like myself, I'm not coming to state theory. Oh, leadership is when you can change the better to influence somebody to do something they don't want to do. And those are manipulative, narcissistic speeches. I have heard them over and over and over and over and over. And we see leaders in that very same space who are not doing anything because we have given them some form of subscription, an ascribed form of leadership. When your time is up, you go. We'll pay you for you to lead. No, 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 no. We need to start changing that narrative. The narrative we need to start changing is to deal with certain myths. That position myth, where I have to say that I need to get to the top before I can lead up. If I'm not at the top, I will not be able to lead. It's a myth. It's a position myth, a destination myth. I will learn to lead when I occupy a top position or when I get to the top. And no, 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 no. People will listen to me when I am at the top because then you think you'll be influential. No, I have my reservations about influencers and influence, but this is not one of them. I will be in control when I get to the top. It's not true. A lot of people at the top, they know nothing about leadership. Nothing, absolutely nothing, nada, nothing. I will no longer be limited or I can do whatever I want when I'm at the top. No, we see young people doing everything they're doing and they don't care about being at the top. That is why we are always saying that if you are doing something and you don't care about who gets credit, then you are being an actual good leader. Because that's what leadership is about. It's about all of us coming together to say, hey, this is the challenge we've identified. Let us provide a solution to it. We don't care who gets the credit. At the end of the day, it's going to say a group of young people came here. This is what they did, and this is what they've been able to change. And that's the goal. That is what we are looking at. If I am not at the top, I can't reach my potential. It's a lie. You see, growing up, we have been stuck up in these social studies topics, which makes us so limited in a lot of areas. Sometimes you have to wait for the green light. There is nothing like a green light. nobody's holding any green flag to wait for you to say, oh, it's green, now you can go. There is nothing like that. Just do it. Just do it. We have to do it. And if I'm at the top, I won't. If I'm not at the top, then I won't bother to lead. I don't care. That doesn't make sense at all. That does not make sense at all. Why? Because the ethics of leadership is all about integrity, integrity, character, attitude, keeping your promise, adopting the reality principle. When I say reality principle, not always going for yes, not being afraid to face the truth, being able to be open to truthfulness and honesty, being confident, being assertive, but being also open to the idea that you can't be wrong, but then you are open to be corrected. Being confident and not being blind in that confidence. Do you get it? Honesty, fairness, not compromising our values, morals, just to settle about anything. And I like how most of us are trying to turn over that leaf to be able to do a lot of things. Now, when it comes to innovation, now let's talk about innovation. I mean, we all know leadership. Class prefect was a leader. You know how there's this class prefect who was, okay, I'm writing names of talkatives. I'm writing names of talkatives to show. And there's always that silent person who one day rise up and talk, and they'll be like, wow. So this person can talk. Wow. And now we silence the class prefect because now there's someone who can challenge you. You get that there's something like that. So as young people, I believe that we can not to shift blame like Adam did and shifted blame to Eve. We need not to forget ourselves when we get to the top. Esther almost forgot her people, and Mordecai said, if you think you will not be affected, then you are one of us. We need to see sometimes you see things like the Deborah generation, the Esther generation, the Lydia generation, it's because of the things they did to change the status quo. Last time I told someone that women actually enjoy a miniature of what women fought for biblically. And they were like, wow. And I said, yes, it's because we are not actually, it's how the society has been created. Hierarchical, and then we put men at the top, hierarchical, and then we put men in the middle, patriarchal, we say give it to the men, and then now we have to fight for the women, and now fighting for the women, we go the extreme, and now we leave them, and now people can't even focus on what is right. So we need to also look at that in trying to fight for the right cause as young people, not just as young women, as young people, as young people. Now, when it comes to innovation, let me grab in from where Diana said, African mindset, our African mindset needs to change. I asked someone, why do you want to be the Elon Musk of Ghana? Oh, that's because he's a well-known person. He's well-known for what? Well, to be the richest man. I'm like, what did he do? Oh, well, they said he's the owner of Twitter. Like, what else did he do? Because he didn't just up to become Elon Musk. He started from somewhere. Let's start from somewhere. Let's forget about those discouraging words. I have heard them so many times. Now I just build a bridge and then I just cross it. Just build a top skin around it and you just cross it. Just move on. You just move on. Sometimes you hear things that you people are rushing. You people are rushing so much. You're not even seeing anything. You're not even seeing anything. And then in the next 5 years, these very same people, so when you had the opportunity, what did you even use it for? What did you, if we are doing the right things for the right reasons, then I don't think we are rushing. If we are pursuing the right courses for the right reasons, if we are being innovative, innovation is just basically adding up to provide better solutions, adding up to provide better solutions. That's just it. We've seen climate. Yesterday, I was telling my mom that she's one of the people causing climate change. This woman said I should go around and look at all the plastics and things before I come and talk to her. And I said, it starts with you. It starts, if people come and they say we are not doing, they will not do it. It starts with us. That is what we need to do. We start little, we don't expect that the right things will be done in a jiffy, but then we start gradually, and then we start. I am just waiting for the day where all young people will rise up and say, today be today. This is what we are doing. We will put politics aside. We will put tribe aside. We will put denomination aside, unnecessary desires aside, and say, as young people today, we are calling all young people to order and say, today we are focusing on this topic, this challenge. No more plastics, because we want to provide solutions to the society. That I'm waiting for the day all of us will come together and say, today we are providing solutions to this. And then it will be marvelous. It will be, you know what, let's give these people the opportunity, because now we are handicapped, we are outnumbered. If we took nobody that, so young people and innovation, these are the very few things that I believe, based of things we've seen, we can actually work on and improve, because I don't believe that we need to pursue the
Oh, I think we lost Janet there. Wow, she was really dishing out some gems. And I tell you, Janet is very much, motivated when it comes to young people and leadership, and she has a lot to say about the matter. Whilst we wait for her, Esther is saying that, so how do you change the mindset of Africa when the mindset has been that it is a problem? Do you think all young people have the same mind? Do you just say tell, debate, and come out with a solution? Well, Janet is not here. Would wait for her to come, address this question. But to just, give a response, or to anybody who wants to banter or give any kind of response, I'm going to say that it's not everybody who have the same mindset. Everywhere you go, there are people who, okay, I think Janet is here. Hi, Janet, are you able to speak? Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
sorry.
we lost you. We lost you. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Where did you
Esther had a question. Yeah, Esther had a question. However,
you see this submarine thing, we need to, how can we come up with a submarine or something, provide our own internet? Tech hustle, let's do something.
Of course. I don't even know why we are not thinking about it. That's the problem. We all of us, including me, we sat back. They said there's a submarine issue. And we are all saying, okay, it's a submarine issue. So we don't have internet. And nobody amongst us is thinking, how can I, build a submarine? Like, let me just do my small work, go to my office and come back, So Esther has a question, Janet.
Okay.
I was saying that it starts with the individual. However, she said that how do you change the mindset of Africa when the mindset has been that it's a problem? Do you think all young people have the same mind? Tell, debate, or come out with a solution? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Esther. There's something I call conformity. None of us have the same mind. We all don't have the same mind. Believe me, most of us have very great minds, but we conform to the African standards. You know, you are shaped by your environment. You are influenced by your environment. So in coming up with something, no African youth has the same mind. There are some African friends I know from Madagascar, bro. Believe me, they are more hungrier for change than anything. But the question is, the people at the top, that is why I said our African society is concentrated at the top. Top. That is why
Hi, Janet. I think you are breaking up now.
Have always understood that into it is only when you are at the top you can influence.
Hello. Hey, Janet, can you hear me? Hello. I think Janet's internet is a bit, it's a bit shaky at the moment. Jen, I would have to let
It's
you.
only when you are at the top you can actually everybody's fight is. Am I breaking up again? Sorry.
Yeah, you kind of went for a while. Yes. You kind of went off for a while. Hello. Hi, Janet. Okay. So you know what we're going to do? You're going to put the question there, hold it off so that Janet can connect properly. And also, obviously, because of our time, trust me when I say Janet has a lot to say about this matter. And so, of course, let's reserve the question for her. And then she would come back to, address the question appropriately. If you have any question, just put it in the chat. Let's rack our brains on this matter. Innovation, technology, leadership, youth, anything around these themes. We'll be happy to, have a conversation around it. Next on our agenda, we have Miss Diane, also a very strong person in leadership, youth development, policy, climate. Currently, Miss Diane is the CEO of Brand Up Guys, a digitech agency, consulting agency. She's also a global shaper. She's actually the vice president. So you can just imagine you have two vice presidents here of the global shaper Genesis for the Yali alumni. And of course, she's also here to share some thoughts around leadership, youth, anything, her thoughts, her beliefs, her philosophies with us. So without much ado, Diane, kindly go ahead and then, speak. Let's give her the virtual round of applause.
Hi.
Hi.
Good afternoon once again. I am still hiding somewhere, so forgive me if the background, sounds a bit noisy, but I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Was I the one you were introducing?
Of course.
It seems like it wasn't me for a minute. Yeah. So again, the reason why it probably feels like it wasn't me you were introducing is because anytime someone, talks about me, I realize how far I've come. I was a biologist at some point in my life, graduated from University of Ghana as a biologist, plant biologist. I specialized in microbiology, right? And to change the trajectory into business, into tech, into leadership, wasn't a joke. Um, there's so much that I want to say today, and hopefully, I pray that God leads me to share whatever I need to share with everyone on the call today. My story is a very interesting one. Again, I came from biology and I transitioned into blogging, came into tech, and then came into marketing, came into business strategy, came into climate. So, one thing you would notice about me is I have been exploring. I have been exploring myself and I've been expanding myself. I think that anytime we talk about leadership, um, most people think that you're supposed to have it all figured out. I'm here to tell you that you don't really need to have everything figured out, but you just need to have a stepping point, a starting point, right? Where you find something that you find very interesting, and then you can pour yourself into that thing, right? So for me, self leadership is having power and knowing how to use the power you have. Most of us don't realize that we have power. Anyone here who can vote, okay, you should know that you have power, but you don't even realize how relevant your power is. And this is the mindset that I carry in my day to day life because let's be honest, sometimes things get a little crazy. Sometimes things look like it's not going to happen. Sometimes everything just seems to not go the way you want it to go. But you need to understand that once you know the power that you carry, you can always overcome your challenges. While I was figuring myself out, can you imagine? My mom was so worried about me. She was like, "Oh, you should find a job. You should do this. You should, and this is literally the voice of a lot of people. And I know a lot of people face the same things. While you're trying to discover yourself, while you're trying to find what your voice is, you have a lot of people that care about you, that will tell you that, hey, this thing that you're doing, I don't think is going well. And they mean it, it's not like they don't want to see you succeed. They mean it out of love, right? And so sometimes you should understand that um, you can be directed in the wrong way with love, right? That's why you need to understand yourself. You need to understand your power. Once you find that thing, that voice, see, sometimes you have to be a bit disobedient to your family, to your parents, to be able to achieve what you want. Because listen, sometimes our parents don't even see what we see. They don't see the vision that we see. My mom right now is my biggest supporter. And I'm even here with her, but she's somewhere in the building. But my mom right now is my biggest supporter because she's seen, I told her at some point, because she was giving me a lot of pressure. And I told her at some point, you need to let me figure this out on my own. Stop trying to get me a job with your friends, connections, or whatever. I want to figure this out on my own. And sometimes, again, misdirection can come in the form of love, and you can easily be directed to a different course when you know that this is actually what you're burning for, what you really want to do with your life. And yes, you will doubt yourself while you're doing all this. People would say things that will break you. People will say things that will um, change how you view life. It's okay. It's okay for all these things to happen to you while you're at it. Well, when I started and I decided I was going to be a blogger at some point in my life, the kind of backlash that I got from people, and that I used all that negative feedback from people and I turned it into something positive. I tried to, because I know the power that I have, I know that I can do this. And so what I did was I would take all the criticisms, I would take everything, I would take all the negative comments, the people that are talking behind my back. I would take everything and I transition that into what exactly I want. And I use that to manifest where I want to be. And most of the time when we talk about leadership, we're thinking about, oh, you need to be in a leadership position, or, you need to take some leadership role in some NGO, or you need to do this. But you need to be able to lead yourself first, right? If you lack that discipline to lead yourself first, trust me, you won't be able to withstand the journey, because it's a very long journey. And let me tell you something, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. All the things that you hear, all the things that people will say, oh, it doesn't end. But you want to be able to push yourself to that point where it begins to make sense to people, right? It begins to make sense to people so much that they think, wow, like you're so amazing, you're doing so amazing things. These were the same people that were saying, oh, what you're doing won't take you anywhere. What you're doing won't take you anywhere. And all my life, anytime someone discouraged me to do something, that was when I did it the hardest. Because every time someone discouraged me and I tried, it became something amazing. I remember going for a competition and somebody told me, this competition, you won't win, no. Forget it. Forget it. It doesn't make sense. Forget it. And I was one of the people that were picked to be in the top for the competition. So it's anytime that you believe in something so much and someone discourages you, see, listen, put your all into it and go all out, right? When we say leadership, I was talking about confidence. Confidence, believing in yourself, having that power, having that zeal. Listen, for someone like me, okay, that came from a biology background, I had a lot to prove to people, okay? Because how are you in the business space? What do you know about business? Anka biology pan, anka business fan, right? So I had a lot to prove to people. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to be in tech. I'm going to be like a product owner. I'm going to do tech. I had a lot to prove to people because, first of all, everybody doubts you. How do you prove to people that you can be good and resilient at what you do? Is how you lead yourself. So for someone like me, I knew that anytime that I didn't feel my best on a situation, my friend told me, the reason why you're not confident about a situation is because you lack information about that situation. So anytime you're feeling less confident about anything, throw some information around that problem. One thing that I'm very good at is learning. In all the years that I've been doing all these things that I've been doing, the one thing that I can tell you is I have sat down for hours. I sat down from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. every single day, and I still do it, right? Why? Because I'm dedicated to the course. I'm dedicated to where I'm going. I'm dedicated to what I want to learn, right? And I mean, to you, maybe your schedule won't allow you to do things like that, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur. I can do a lot of things and get away with it. But you need to be able to sacrifice some time to be able to get to where you want to go to. And sacrificing time doesn't necessarily mean, oh, today I'm just going to use a Saturday to watch some YouTube TED Talks and stuff, right? Okay, it's good. But how does that add to your life, right? I am very specific. In every point in my life, I have a need, I have a problem that I need to solve, right? And so I find the most amazing courses. And my friends call me the queen of courses. I have like 30 plus certifications, right? I will learn. You will see me at dawn and I'm learning. as if I'm going to write the exam tomorrow morning. Because that is how I approach it. That is how I approach life. I want to throw information about problems, throw some information about things that are going on around me, so that when I get into that room, some people say you have to stay ready so that you don't have to prepare. That is me. I don't know about you, but me, I stay ready. If I'm sleeping and you call me and you ask me, Diane, I'm having this business issue. This is the problem. How should I solve it? I will tell you the solution. And I just woke up. I don't need to go and read and come back, right? Because you need to stay ready. And most of the times, I think a lot of young people were used to being spoon-fed, okay? Because our education system allows that. We're used to being spoon-fed, and so we are not able to take initiatives on our own. We're not able to learn on our own. We're not able to push certain narratives on our own. You're always looking for some type of validation. And when I started off, I think I had that challenge as well. But it took me a few months to say, hey, listen, I'm not going to even listen to I'm just going to do me, my own style. You need to be able to put yourself in certain positions. See, it's a crazy world out here. Yeah. It's a very crazy world out here. And so you need to be able to figure out things on your own. You need to be able to learn things on your own. You need to be able to identify your talents on your own. You need to be able to identify what your interests are on your own. You can't really be the person that's always dependent on someone. I'm not saying you don't have to be dependent on people. You don't, but you need your own identity. You need your own you need to be yourself to be able to collaborate with people. Or else when you meet other people that are doing better than you, do you know what happens? You begin to feel like I don't know, you don't feel like yourself, right? And that's when all the jealousy comes in, because, oh, why is this person doing better than me? Are we all not friends? Are we? No, once you're able to find your voice, find your identity, stand in that identity. See, nothing nobody would say scares you. If your friend is winning, you appreciate their wins, you celebrate them, you see what they are doing, and you acknowledge what they are doing. It doesn't scare you because you are on your own journey, right? And so when it comes to leadership, see, there's a whole lot that I want to say about leadership. But one of the things that I'm going to say is build your own confidence. Okay, find your voice and don't lose it. Find a specific problem, yeah, that you want to solve, yeah, and make sure that you throw so much information about it that you become an expert in that field, that problem, that solution. Find all the other diverse ways that you can provide solutions to that problem. Yeah. And now when you find that one thing that makes you so excited and gets you giggly, or a few things that you find excitement, you have information about. See, don't keep quiet. And one of the things that helped me propel what I was doing is I wasn't quiet. These days I've been a bit quiet because I'm working, right? But I wasn't quiet. I was active. I mean, I would share everything, my certifications, I will share it because I'm trying to make money. It's not now, there's no time to be shy. There's no time to be acting like, oh, and this person and that person. You need to start the innovation, yeah? You need to start with yourself. You need to innovate in your own life, in your own career, in your personal life, how you're even networking. You need to be innovative. And people talk about innovation and like you're thinking of the wild things, and start with yourself. What right now that you're sitting here listening to me, can you tell me one thing that you know that, oh, given the opportunity, I can do something around this. I can speak to this problem. I can do something around. I'm confident. I know so much about it. I'm well informed. See, someone told me one thing. Before you go and ask anybody for any type of information, Google it first and make sure you've read. You see, on Google, they have different pages, right? Make sure you've read from 1 to 10. Make sure you've read on Google that topic. You've read from 1 to 10, page 1 to page 10, before you even go and ask anybody anything. Young people in Ghana, especially, are so used to being spoon-fed. And this is me speaking from someone who has employed young people. You're used to being spoon-fed. Like, even because they don't know how to innovate on their own, they are not proactive when it comes to solutions, doing something, pushing themselves out there. Listen, unless you tell them that, hey, madam, wait to her before they place a thing here, right? And this mindset needs to change. And it's not just like in mindset. You need to be intentional and take actions, because if you don't, it affects you in all areas of your life and you don't even realize it. Once you start to be that person that does things on your own, you don't need to always go and ask mommy or daddy for approval for certain things. You begin to find that independence. And I think most of us in Africa, we have that challenge because we usually grow around our parents, and we live at home to a certain age. And so we become very dependent on our parents, and we listen to their advice. And sometimes your parents are the best people to advise you, right? But there are other times where you kind of need to also make some decisions on your own. And that's what, like, you need to step into adulting properly and think for yourself properly. And that's like a great way to start your leadership journey. There's also, I put out like a few actionable steps that I think you should, use, right? The first one is have your own vision. I've seen too many people that their vision but their vision is based on other people's vision. It's okay if somebody's doing something you like, but when we start to probe you deeper into why do you want this particular thing, it becomes a problem because you haven't identified. It's like I think somebody mentioned something about influencers, right? It's like we're in an age where we see a lot of videos, and so we're influenced by a lot of videos and things that we see online. To me, in this point in my life, I feel like when I'm talking to young people, all of you kind of sound almost the same, because you listen to the same kind of things, you listen to, and so all of you sound almost the same to me. There's no originality in like, oh, this happened to me. You can't even tell your story properly. You can't even, your own vision, you can't tell me the story properly. It's like you are using other people's examples to tell me your story, right? You have to own your own story. And that's exactly what our dear sister Charity here has done. She's told us her story. She's showed us her story. She's teaching people through her story, right? So the second thing too is you need to identify a problem you want to solve. There's so many problems around you. There's so many things. You need to find a problem that excites you and angers you enough, okay? Just enough, like something that gets you angry enough to want to solve it. You also need to do research. There's a lot of information. We live in an information era. And so if you're telling me that you're not finding information and you're not finding you're just being lazy at this point. There's so much information that you can find everywhere. LinkedIn, Google, but this information. So make sure that you're doing your own research. and then be prepared for the worst case scenario. Whatever path that you choose, see, tell yourself that what is the worst that can happen? Put it in your mind, so that when anything happens, you tell yourself that, well, it has happened, but it's not that bad. And then you move on. Because if you don't do that, you'll be deterred by little challenges. I know a lot of people that once they face like a little challenge when they are doing something, they crash the whole project. Everything will go down because they are not able to think in that, resilient mindset, and then, try and go for the things that they want for themselves. And all I said, be prepared for the worst case scenario. Where's worst case? See, where's worst case? Think about that. And whatever you're doing, what is the worst case scenario? And then keep it in your mind. So anytime you face a challenge, you tell yourself, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Oh, this could have happened, but it's not that bad. And then give it your all. Sacrifice your comfort. Because I told you I don't sleep well. I don't know. I think someone said you sleep. Me, sometimes I don't sleep because the kind of fire that is burning in me, it won't allow me to even sleep, right? And I know that everybody has a different path. Everybody has a different journey. See, somebody said that you don't know how fast the lion that is chasing me is running. So when you see me running, you might think, oh, I'm running too fast, but you don't know how fast the lion that is behind me is chasing me. So I feel like that's very different for everybody. You know where you are in life. Are you comfortable in the situation that you find yourself in now? Is it something at this rate and the pace that you are going? In 5 years, if you are going at the same pace, where would you be? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. So while you are innovating and creating all the amazing solutions in tech and climate, don't forget yourself, because you need to be the person that leads yourself to be able to lead others. So that's it for me. I'm gonna see what's happening in the chat. Yeah. I think if you have any questions, you can share here as well. Over to you, Charity.
Yeah. Okay. So, Diane, there's a question here. Very true. I think Esther was talking around the time where you said if you're an entrepreneur, you have all the time. However, if you are working, your time is a bit limited. And so she's painting a very real photo here where she said, when you're trying to figure out yourself and lack financial aid, which most of the youth are facing, you definitely try to get a job to support yourself. So how do you still, innovate, self-lead yourself, do all these other things too? Yeah.
So finding see, when it comes to jobs, yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm not the best person to talk with when it comes to jobs. In my entire career, I would say I've had only one professional corporate job. On my journey, I was freelancing. I already knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So again, it comes down to what your skill sets are, right? While you may have some amazing skill sets, or you probably don't have a skill set, that you can really use to make money on your own, and you find something, make sure that innovation, whatever self-leadership that you need, will come from your job, right? And I realized that a lot of young people are so eager, especially when they graduate, because I have a couple of employees. So when they come out of school fresh and then you hire them, I don't know, it comes with some level of being pompous, okay? I'm sorry to say this, but it comes with some, I don't know, but you need to be humble, okay? To be able to learn from people that are doing things. you really need to be humble, because if you don't really have the skill set like that, you don't really have a direction that you're going like that. You need a job to, sustain your home, take care of yourself, and do all the things that you want to do. Great. But make sure that you're using that job as a pilot to learn all the things that you can learn on the job, so that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can take the same skill sets and apply it in your business, or if you want to go higher in corporate, you can apply those skill sets and things that you've learned in other spaces, right? And again, let me say this, let me touch on this again. Don't be pompous. Don't be, see, the kind of people that I've dealt with, God, the kind of people that the kind of people that I've dealt with, it's like you don't really know much, but you also won't be humble enough to learn stuff. And you're carrying yourself like, you're a graduate and you just came out of school, and you have that mindset. Meanwhile, you don't have any experience. You don't have any track record of anything. People that are higher than you, like, have done a lot, and you come and be disrespectful to them, be pompous in a way, they talk to you, when they give you more job, you get angry. See, me, when someone gives me more job, I thank God, because if it's something that I don't know, right, it gives me the opportunity to go and research and find out. There are lots of things that I didn't know how to do. Someone asked me, "Oh, Diane, can you do this for me?" Right? Because I've worked with maybe 3 tech startups, right? And I held leadership positions in all of them. And so somebody can come to me and say, "Oh, Diana, can you help me with this?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." And then I go and find out how to do it. So that's also like another way to lead yourself, because you can learn, and you can even pick specific people that are doing specific things. Like, you want to learn software development, but you yourself, you've come in maybe as HR or something. The tech guys, you be asking them questions, you be telling them to plug you to some trainings and stuff. When you have questions, you can go to them and ask them questions. You can build some type of friendship with them, so that they can help you out, so you can also grow. So that's like another way of looking at it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Then I think Diane really answered the question. Esther, I think what Diane was trying to drive at is that you can be a leader, you can innovate at every level of your life, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're actually working. And so from her experience, I have also had some employee situation like that. From her experience, when you enter a workplace and you interact with the different people who are working, you will be able to tell who is the leader and who is not. You can easily tell by their attitude when you give them work, how they behave, how proud they are, at every level. So if at the time, let's say, Esther, I don't have the money to support myself, so I'm doing something else at the time, but I really don't want to do this, that is when your innovate, like the power to innovate comes into place. You literally have to be very innovative, because now you have a responsibility to represent a company, but at the same time, you do have your own vision to do something else, right? So that's when you have to be extremely entrepreneurial. They call them intrapreneurs in the corporate space. So go into that organization, whichever organization you are, and tell yourself that I'm going to be different. I'm going to do so, even though today I'm working for this company. I know that I don't want to be here forever. However, I want to use this opportunity to build bridges with people. I want to use the opportunity to even have a very good relationship with my boss, so that if I have to do something on my own, I can always go back to my boss, and ask for anything at all, because now I have built that relationship with them. So you have to be thinking around, you don't always get it your way, not all the time. Because sometimes for you, it may be financial. For me, it may be family. Like I just had a baby and I had to do something really big. Sometimes I have to be extremely innovative. Like for instance, I'm falling on maybe my daughter, I'm falling on Jeremy, I'm falling on other people. Because even though I still want to go and do it myself, I can't do it because now you have to attend to a baby at home or do something else. You really have to be innovative. So at every point in time, you don't have it starts from your mind. Like you don't have to say, oh, I'm limited, I'm working for somebody. There's nothing I can do. And I think Diane gave so much example about that. Thank you so much, Diane. There's also another question for Janet. When you left, Janet, they say, how do you change the mindset of Africa? When the mindset has been, it is a problem. Do you think all young people have the same mind? Yeah, you know, how can you change the mindset of Africa? Like, is it even possible to change the mindset of Africa? Like, what's your take, Janet? Yeah.
Hi, hello, sorry.
Yeah.
I was having internet issues, but I'm back. Thank you, Charity and Esther, for that question. You know, the same person that told us that, I saw this on social media and it was funny. The same person that told us that when you add milk to Malta Guinness, you get blood, is the same person that told us that having an extremely white and expensive wedding will lead to a successful marriage. So first, it was a mindset problem. You see, like I said, it's not at once and then you change the mindset. We have a lot of people with us whose mindset, unless you don't want to change, unless you just want to conform. That's why I said there's something called conformity. Once you become an adult and you know what you want to do, you really want to change, you will be able to associate yourself with the right kind of people who will help you change. Okay, the African mindset needs to be changed when it comes to leadership, young people, and innovation. That is what we are looking at right now. There are lots of things that have helped us so far. We thank them for that. But when it comes to development, we need to have that mindset changed. And Esther saying, do you think the Africans' mindset? Yes, it can be changed. The same way we are standing our grounds against certain things, against our values, and the same way we can have that very same mindset and say that, no, let us start from this group of people. And as they build and influence others, it's not a one-time thing. It can take years, but it's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a year, not even 5. It can take years. But once we know that we started from somewhere, we are getting somewhere, then we will change that mindset. That is why there are certain houses or homes you go to, you don't do certain things. We've always carried that mindset. When you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. When you come to Ghana, what do you do? When you come to Ghana, when I come to Africa, what do I do? Everybody literally thinks that you can come to Africa and be free to be corrupt. That is the mindset. But then what mindset are we carrying as Africans to say, no, we don't do that here? And an African will say, Charlie, let's give them some money. And then the person develops that mindset. We can also change and go, no, I don't do that. So everybody coming to you know that you don't do that. And everybody around you will not do that. And everybody around you will know that you are surrounded by people who do not do that. That's how things trickle down. But if everybody is doing it, then everybody is going to do it. If everybody is going to carry on doing it, then everybody is going to carry on doing it. That is the mindset. Mindset is a difficult thing. It's very challenging to change a mindset. But then we need to bring people to the understanding for them to know that, no, we need to change. You know, we can put them in a space where they will say, no, we need to change, and then they will change. So that's where we found ourselves. We can put people in a position where they would want to change. But then, like I said, our African society is so hierarchical, we concentrate power to the top. So to get to the top is very difficult. To get to the top is very challenging. So everybody wants to get to the top to be able to change something. So I always tell someone that everybody on social media is somebody until you meet them. Everybody on social media is rich until you meet them. That is the influence we have created. The influence of power. Oh, I have some power here. I have some power there. That's why when someone says, do you know me? Do you know me? Do you know who I am? They're not referring to them. They're referring to the people around them. That is the mindset we can change everything if we want to change it. We can literally change it. That is why I said I'm waiting for the day all young people who rise up and say, we do not want this. This thing must change. And then all the leaders will know that now the young people have seen the light. There has been an awakening in them. But you see, today we organize this conference, then only few people are transformed, the rest go sleep on it. We organize another one, only few people are transformed. So me, I like it when we organize things and only 10 people like us are here, because from this, we tend to have the time to absorb and digest everything every conversation we are having here. And we now break them down to see how we can apply them to our lives and things around us. It's not always about the numbers. We always want to see the numbers, and then we think we are doing something. No. That is why there's a Chinese adage that says, leave your child for me for 6 months and your child will never be yours again. It's about the mind, all about the mind. That is why we see the Westerners as second to nothing. But then when it comes to African concept, we reject our own selves for them. We reject our own good initiatives for them. You see young people coming up with something so sweet and nice and like, hey, this thing, will people like it? Yeah, people will like it. Put it out there. If they don't like it, so what? Do something else. Do something up. Learn the art of branding, and then they will like it. If they don't like it, I will like it. So what if they don't like it? Do something else. We need to do that. And then the more we push, we will get there. So yes, Esther, the mindset cannot be changed in a day. African minds can be changed. You see, you are seeing the results as a challenge. Hey, can their minds be changed? Yes, it can be changed. Thank you, Diane, for saying that. Let's always think about the worst case scenario. This is not the worst case scenario. Even in the worst case, this is not the worst case scenario. The mindsets can be changed. Let the adults and the old people give themselves awards, give themselves the greatest awards a citizen can get, and let us down here do what we are supposed to do. And together, when we get to the top, we will know, they will see that we started working on ourselves years back. And as we are at the top, we are not at the top as individuals, but we are at the top as a group. Okay, we don't need to be at the top to make any influence, but then we are fighting to get to the top, because that is where we can trickle down the power, so that we delegate it, so that people feel that they are also part of human beings. It's not always being the first citizen, being the second citizen and whatever. No. We need to do stuff. And Esther, there's a lot to this conversation, to this topic, but yes, our mindsets can be changed. Thank you. So we can go with this this notion that be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. What do we present to them for them to think, to say that, no, we want to change? That is why when someone is so hungry and you present to them a grain of rice on conditions, they will accept it, because they found themselves in a spot where they will do anything for that satisfaction. So if that satisfaction is for the greater good, it's not for comfort, but will go to an extent of changing a generation mindset, then I am up for it. Thank you very much.
No. Thank you. Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you. That was really good. Diane is going to be leaving us. I think she's in town, so you can connect with her on LinkedIn, more active LinkedIn. But really, thank you so much, Janet, too. You guys have really spoken well, talked about personal leadership. There's actually a question, though, about, must you always know where you are going at a point in time. There are times where you genuinely don't know what direction you are going. How do you go about it then? So, Miriam, I don't know if Diane is still, because I think Miriam asked that question when you spoke about you must have a vision, a direction, at some point. If you are not gone, maybe you could quickly just chip in at 1 minute. We are way behind
Okay.
our now. Yeah.
All right. I was running away and then somebody brought me back. Um, okay. You kind of need to at least have a fair idea of where you want to start. Okay. You don't always have to have everything figured out. Again, I like to say I'm a generalist. I'm one of those people that say jack of all trades, a master of none but better than a master of one, right? I know a lot of things. You don't really need to narrow down or figure out just one thing that you want to do the entire time. Okay, you can always change your mind. Maybe this year you're feeling like I don't want to do this like that. It's not as interesting as I thought it would be for me, and my journey has kind of changed a bit. So I want to diversify into other things, right? Um, and so yes, you kind of need to have a starting point. You need to have something that you want to do, but you don't need to have the whole journey figured out because you don't really see what's on the other side. And usually there's a lot more that you find on the other side. But you also need to give yourself grace and give yourself the opportunity to explore. The only reason that I am able to do a lot of different things now is because I took a risk and I decided to explore other things. And so you will never really know if you're good at something if you never try. I'm good at graphic design. I build my own websites. I'm a product owner. I can do a lot of different things. I'm like a business leader, do a lot of strategies. So it really doesn't matter. You just need to know where you want to start. And then when you start, the clarity will come along the line as you keep going and you don't give up.
Oh, wow, that was it. I think that's the perfect. Miriam, won't you agree?
Yes, yes.
That's true. That's very true. I honestly don't have anything to add to that. And to the answer Jenna gave, that yes, the mindset can be changed. I do have so many philosophies around leadership, and just to share a few before I move into the presentation, right? I built my leadership philosophy because I'm Christian. Of course, if you are Muslim or any other religion, kindly pardon me when I share this. I have so many people in the Bible that I draw leadership lessons from, but one of the people that really kickstarted my personal leadership was a man called Daniel. People call him Prophet Daniel, right? The Bible says that when he went to the king, he was taken from his place to Babylon. They were all tested, group, and he got to his turn. And the account was that he was so excellent that he had to be put at the top. And that was it. That message was preached by a mentor that I know, you all know, Dr. Otabil. And that was a time where I was in senior high school coming to the university. And I said, guys, like, I have to follow what this man is saying. Ever since, I have taken absolute responsibility for any action that I take. The second philosophy that I can share with you is from a movie that I call, Katherine Johnson. I don't know if you've watched Hidden Figures or Hidden Heroes? Yeah. So if you have watched that movie, you can give me a high five. Otherwise, I will just go ahead and share shortly about a young lady, a Black lady who always wanted to solve and be part of a group of NASA people. Yeah, Hidden Figures, Hidden Heroes, Hidden Figures. And one of the scenes that really got stuck with me for years, even after that movie, I followed her. I literally watched that woman die, like literally when she was dying in the hospital, was that it was a time where the guy was in the space and then he was stuck. He was asking for Catherine and they were like, no, she's Black and she's a woman, so she can't get into the room, right? And the guy would die in the space. And so they had to do, like, against their better judgment, against every other, doubt, they had to bring him in. Do you know what that scene did to me? It told me, in addition to Daniel, is that it doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter whether you are tall or you are short, you are Black, you are white. You need to have the solution. That is how you win in the world of innovation. You just have to be brilliant. You don't have to appear brilliant, which is one part. You have to excel in what you are doing. And for me, that has run through everything. When I went to my current organization at the VGC, I sat back and I was watching, what does this organization need? And what is it that other people don't have? So I was very careful. When I get into meetings, I'm listening. Oh, nobody is doing these automations for us. Oh, we need this tech, but who is going to, check how, like software integrations generally. And I realized that nobody was doing it, but people were so good in project management and graphic design. I said, look, girl, like this is it. This is what my boss thinks is highly important. And so if I have to be one of the highest paid in this organization, then I need to learn, right? So, of course, the leadership philosophy of being exceptionally good comes in, right? And so I get into work. And my daughter is here. She can tell you there are times that I take on like courses that are like hundreds of hours. Like I sit down from morning to evening. I get on breaks. I come back. I just want to have that expertise. I want to be too good. I can't be passed on, right? And so when I appear into meetings and I'm not talking out of him because I know my stuff. And so that is one of the leadership. And then my third leadership philosophy is to start with you, right? So I've been in, by God's grace, I've been in policy making rooms with big people, professors and all these, they are talking about why the government is not doing that, why the government is doing this, and then organizations are supposed to do this. And I sat back and I said, look, if I can't go to maybe the owner of MTN and say, stop taking bribe, or go to at this point in my life, even if I post it as a young person, they're going to dismiss it and say, oh, what do you know? What experience do you have? Nothing speaks more than results. That was my third philosophy, right? So I told myself that anything that I need my children to be, anything that I need my friends or the people that I want to influence, I need to be that person. If I need people to stop lying, I personally have to be a truthful person and make them not want to tell, lies and stuff. So I realized that the leadership I needed from others had to start from me. And a classic example is the president of Senegal. I mean, this guy is sending shockwaves all over the world. I'm sure one day he woke up and said, look, I'm going to be the youngest president ever in Africa. And I have a conviction for it. Maybe he may not have thought about how his decision would have affected other African countries, would have affected other conversations, other diplomatic rooms, boardrooms, and stuff. But today, this man is the president of Senegal, and we are all shaking our head. We are like, guy, this is possible. I can go for this thing that I want. I can go for it. I can go for it. And so there are lots, but these are some of the 3 things I feel that will be great for this meeting. And so we've come to our final thing. Share your thoughts. You can ask your questions. Janet, I believe, is here. I'm sharing my screen. So if I'm not able to, see the chat, that's why. So share your thoughts, share your questions and all that. However, the main purpose of this meeting is to share with you a very important initiative I have had. I have lived this initiative for years. after secondary school, when I went to university, I wanted to be different. Not popular. These are two different things. Not popular. I just wanted to be different. I wanted anybody that encounters me to say, I picked at least this thing from Charity. And I feel that as I have come to tech, which is like an industry I so much love, even though, of course, it's not the answer to everything, but I love this industry. If there has to be anything I have to give back, then it has to be in that industry. So today I'm going to present to you an initiative, a very dear one. You can ask your questions, your thoughts in the chat, and then I'll check it out and answer them as soon as possible. So let me start this way. So somewhere in 2016, I was in a fellowship called UWAT, it's Unlocking Women in Technology at iSpace. And I built a very amazing innovation. It was an online marketplace for home products, right? It's called Mukafrik. Okay, so I was deep into this 1-year fellowship. I built it myself. Under guidance, I was able to get some APIs around from the backend guys, integrated it, and eventually, changed it to a WordPress online marketplace. Not to bore you with the details, I faced a problem. And that problem today, many years ago, I wouldn't have noticed it. But the problem I faced was called growth. Growth. Somebody say, is growth a problem? Yes, it is. So at the time I was growing, I was increasing. The vendors were asking, where can we keep our products? Every day you are asking us to deliver this product. Where are we going to? It's becoming expensive. I started thinking, I was alone. I had a few advices though, but I was alone in this thing. Like, where do I keep the product? It was a lot. I was overwhelmed. And so one day I met my current employer at a conference, a social conference by DHL. And she was so amazed at what I did. And then she said, Charity, look, I know that you are really doing amazingly well. Why don't we bring you in and then you replicate something like this, but this one with more leadership resources and stuff. So that was how I transitioned from being an entrepreneur at the time to joining a consulting company at the time. But this is where it gets really interesting. Mukafrik at the time was a bit quieter when I kind of exited. I got 2 offers afterwards when I had already signed another contract. And the first contract was by some guy from Silicon Accra. Like, you know how big these people, their money trying to build here. He said, I have investors who want to, just invest in and rebuild. And by that time, I'd already regressed number 1. And then I had another person somewhere from Netherlands who said, wow, this is amazing. I haven't seen anybody build this kind of marketplace. I've seen a lot of more fashion, but your kind of products are a bit distinctive. So, I would want to partner. Another regret, I haven't taken my time, right? So once I started thinking about all these other conversations, should I quit? What does my contract with this other company say? What do I do? Do I come back to rebuild? It was a lot of, contemplation. And so I started interacting with other people. Our company does a lot of training in other African countries. And I keep seeing these trends. People building, they don't have much knowledge. They have some knowledge. They are growing. They don't know what to do. Then the company, somebody steals their idea from them. There's a lot of stuff, like crazy stories out there. And so I started talking to people. I started opening up about my story. I started telling them about the importance of learning, the importance of networking, the importance of collaboration, the importance of reaching out, the importance of learning around the business. If you are a fashion designer, you are not only sewing, you are building a business. So you need to think around the power of scaling, how to grow and stuff like that, right? So that brings me to my next slide. And that is when one day I saw this statistics, right? For those of us who are quite familiar, this is the World Skills Clock, right? Skills around secondary and digital skills. Now, this statistics even changed my life further to push me into action. I realized that the fact that I would go to events and just talk about it was not enough. When I saw this statistic shared by one big industry player, Miss Regina Honu, 83% of Ghanaians between 15 to 24 years do not have digital skills. I couldn't sleep. I still cannot get myself over it. And I started thinking, so does that mean that all these people I meet at their first FinTech awards, are they only just the part of the 20 or the, let me put it, the 15 or the 17%? But this is where it gets really interesting. Let's take all these 83 of the youth out and let's focus on the 17% of people that we know have some kind of digital skills between the ages 15 to 24. What is the problem? The problem here is that those 15 people who are youth, please pay attention to the age bracket, would not be able to build anything out of their digital skills. If they choose career to, advance in a tech career, or maybe build something like an innovation and entrepreneurial path, they would not be able to advance in that because there is still something lacking aside of the little digital skills that they have. So in all, in Africa, Charlie, we are doomed. And mind you, I had already gone for a 1-year coding and, business development fellowship. And that was the challenge I faced. So you can just imagine those who are who don't even have it. So we have a double barrel. So the fact that we are solving only in digital skills is not enough. We have to add something to it so that the little people who have digital skills, like the vice president of Ghana would say, we need to push them. We need to find a way to push them. So I did something first. I wrote a book, right? That book took me a long while. I started in the pandemic, writing inspiration, trying to find ways, if there's a way I can encourage, because at the time where I joined my incubator, the one incubator, 2016, 2017, we were like 60 something. By the time we're done, we're like 4 or 5 of us. People are not encouraged to learn difficult things, but the difficult things are the future. So I knew that there is some kind of inspiration that people don't have the real idea how these things can help them in their life. And so I started, when I wrote Tech Hustle, I started interacting more, talking to people, those who have read, those who have not read. By God's grace, I was also invited to a lot of events, speaking. And then I realized that this same issue that I faced building MOOC Afraid has become a bigger issue. If you are here in this meeting right now and you know how to code, you know how to build the software, but for some reason, weird reason, you have an idea, a big idea, and you don't know how to proceed, then you were like me, many years ago. And that's a big problem, right? And so that takes me to the next, why I was so much into Tech Hustle and then Black Tech Lead that I'm introducing today. Traditional tech education focuses more on coding, neglecting the essential leadership skills necessary for innovation and impact. Because the outcome of any coding class is for you to build a career or build an innovation. I'm talking about entrepreneurship, right? That's the end goal. But if after learning, you don't know what to do, what is the point, right? And then secondly, this skills gap limits young people's ability to become the next generation of tech leaders. I think Diane or Janet said something about Elon Musk. It was Janet who said something about Elon Musk. I like to read a lot more about some of these people, like we all do anyway. And it will interest you to know that when Elon Musk was around, I think 5 or 8 years, he was already reading things about physics, space. He already, Charlie, he had an idea, even if he doesn't know what he wants to do in life, he had an idea about something, like what he wants to do in his life. But come to our part of the world. We face a lot more difficulty in breaking into innovation. We don't start early. So how is it that by the time you try to figure it out, you are 50 years? because the roadblocks are many. And because you started after school, after you finish your degree, or sometimes we go back and do our masters. We come back, then we are now trying to figure it out. But tell you are 40 years, happy 40 years to you. Then you are 50 years. You have nothing. I am not lying to you. I have met a 40-year-old woman who says, Charity, I'm confused. I don't know what to do with my life anymore. I've tried. It's not working. Let me just serve the Lord. But this person is so talented. And so I am a big advocate for start early. That is why, even though most youth advocacy would go around maybe SS, uni, I start with from day one. You have to start from young. So I embrace that bracket a lot. So I like to talk about myself as teenagers. However, I talk to more people in that age bracket, right? And so what do we do at Black Tech Lead? Our goal is to help bridge the gap between technical and expertise and impactful leadership, ensuring that the voices of young people and their contributions are heard, right? So we are leading through one philanthropy. It's a social impact initiative fueled by the power of philanthropy. I'll talk deeply about that. And then our mission is to empower young people to become the next generation of technology leaders. I'm sorry, I'm limiting it to tech, but of course we would open it up to more STEM, sciencey, but for the sake of just branding, please pardon me that we are focusing more on technology. We believe that young people or young minds are brimming with, more ideas and should be more than just coding and stuff, right? So let me stay here a bit more. So our name is Black Tech Lead. I missed a slide that should have expanded more. And what we are doing is just our name. What do I mean by that? Black is very geographical. Like naturally when you hear the word Black Africans, Black this, Black Asians, Black British, it just means like a certain color, right? However, I am bringing it back to geographical location. So when I say Black, it means that my initiative is based primarily on Africans. So wherever you are, if you are Black, you are African, then, you fall as part of it. And then the next thing in my name is tech, right? Like I mentioned earlier, we have a big focus on technology leaders because today, the revolution we are in is more technology, but of course we invite a lot more sciencey people to join us in our drive. And so what do we do as tech? Tech in that aspect is very huge. The first thing that we want to do, we're already doing more. We are doing it in the background, but we haven't made it more official this way. Number one, we sell Tech Hustle or give it out, which is part of this initiative. So we are doing more like sharing Tech Hustle books to people in the rural who can buy, who can, purchase. And then also a bigger part of it is that we are doing trainings for people too. So we go to schools, we go to organizations, we do training on technology. But a bigger part of what will interest you in Black Tech Lead is that we want to raise high-level technology people, right? So when you are part of Black Tech Lead, I'm sorry, HTML is not enough. Or CSS is not enough. You literally have to push yourself into a certain part of how do you call it, like tech field that is very high yielding, right? So the plan is to get people into AI, machine learning, cyber security, product management, product leadership, data science, data analytics, UI, UX, high level technology skills. And if you are a STEM person too, of course, you need to be somebody who is aspiring to be a leader in your STEM field. So these are the people that we are looking out for. That is the tech part. Now, when it comes to the leadership part, so as you can see in Black Tech Lead, we are not only going to do leadership, we are actually doing tech because of the numbers that I showed to you. I am convinced that any organization like mine, which will only do leadership and not tech, may not get the results that we need. So tech is a big part. We will collaborate with other institutions, we'll help people through philanthropy to get certifications in maybe cybersecurity, cloud computing. We will actually teach too as well. We'll get people into other data fellowships, you know, all that stuff, good stuff. But at the end of the day, we need our community people to be high level, high yielding technology leaders in Africa or from Africa to any part of the world. The lead part, which is also part of our name, part of our mission, is where it gets really interesting. So that is the leadership part. You cannot be part of Black Tech Lead and not self-lead. You cannot be part of Black Tech Lead and not understand that you are part of the change. So we are going to do a lot more on leadership too. So let's move to what the leadership content is about. So these are just some of it. This is not all at all because there's a lot we can do, right? So there's public speaking, there's reading. A big part of everything we are doing is about reading. Like you literally have to be a reader. If you can't read or you can't hear audio, is it audiobooks? I'm not a fan of audiobooks, but yeah, other people really like audiobooks. You are not part of, you know, you need to find a way to get information from books, right? So you need to be somebody who is good, or if you're part of our community, maybe you can get infected by the bug, by the reading bug, but you need to be a reader, right? We'll be doing a lot more. This will be structured into courses, leadership camp, like we'll get away to certain places if you're part of the cohort. And then we'll do personal branding, which is very important. Personal branding bores a lot into your expertise, how you can help people in a certain industry, not only in a certain topic. Because I see people make mistakes, just pick cybersecurity, only talk. But at the time where they are going in their level, you can't just limit yourself because you are growing. You're not like maybe in a mid-level or senior level where you can, you know, bore down to a certain, but you can pick topics around a certain industry. That's just by the way. You know, we'll do soft skills development, vision boarding, very important. You need to have a vision boarding or a vision. Applying for fellowships, it's very important to me. Now, if you're part of a Black Tech Lead, you need to be part of very prestigious fellowships. You need to put yourself out there. In fact, we're going to push you. If you're not doing it, then of course, out the door, right? So you're going to do a lot more volunteering, you know, like Miss Diane does a lot. She does a lot of volunteering. They move to play, talk to people about climate. You know, you need to be part of a community, share, you know. And then as part of fellowships, one of my visions for Black Tech Lead is that the people in Black Tech Lead have to be people who understand the importance of quality education, right? So most of our people have to aim high. You have to aim so high in your education, right? So the photo that you're seeing here are Susie and Favor, right? I met them at British High Commissioner residence. I got a special invitation to talk about STEM by the British High Commissioner, and I met them there. Amazing young girls. They were at Ames, Ghana. That's a mathematics secondary school at Tema. And now these girls are on MasterCard scholarship or fellowship, whatever it's called, and they're going to Ashesi. So you can just imagine, right? So you need to be very audacious about, if you are one of those people where, let me go to University of Tree, or let me just go to University of Water, I'll be fine. The water will be okay for me. Then you are not part of us. You need to aim really high because we understand the importance of global view or global experience. You need to find a way to get into people, amongst people that have diverse views from you. And you can't do that if you're a local champion, right? So you need to, you know, people in our fellowship have to aim so high in education. Like, so you can see where my vision is going. raising high-level leaders from Africa, right? And then networking, of course, most of us know networking. Tech savviness online, of course, we'll be talking a lot more. There are more topics around, mental health, stress, innovation, self-leadership. Dinah talked about finding your voice, and mentorship. You need to have a mentor. I alone can't be your mentor. In fact, I'm not your mentor. You need to have somebody that you can always answer to. And I don't have any problem. This is a very open fellowship, or a very open community, right? And so you need to, find your voice. Networking done right, mentorship is very important. So there are 3 ways we want to do this. We have the General Global Leadership Training, which is the Global Leaders Corner, that's GLC, that you can see at the top here. And then we have those who want to just build tech or STEM careers. And then we have people who just want to build entrepreneurship. So based on your vision, you would, study things so deeply into what you want to do, how you can be a leader in the workplace or a leader in an innovation space, right? So the way, like I mentioned earlier, at this point, I'm looking for people like Jesus to say disciples, right? So I'll be doing a lot of talking. This is recorded, so I'll be sending out to a lot more people. I'm looking for 10 people that I'm going to do this with, boys and girls, right? So I'm looking for 50-50, 5 boys and 5 girls, right? However, it's going to be rolling because people need to be really vetted before, because, you can get somebody in and the person does not read. I mean, like, you're wasting your time, right? So it's going to be a lot more vetted. I want to introduce these people. So these people I call disciples, to be the people that will end up, volunteering, reteaching other people to become leaders in the community, teaching other people. And sometimes when we do the school visits or community visits, other African countries visits, some of these people are volunteers or leaders that will take up that mantle, and pass it on as we move on. So as you can see, this initiative is quite a lot. At this point, does anybody have any question at all? Okay, so I put this person here. What can you be after becoming a part of Black Tech Lead? You can be anything. I didn't put anything here. It's just blank, and it's there for a reason. The only reason being that everybody is different. And my vision is not to create the same people. It's not to create the same people who think the same way. So one person can think that, oh, we can all change the minds of everybody in Africa. That's great. The philosophy is that nobody is right. Another person can say, no, I can only change my mind and not change other people. Great. And so who you can be after being in a community like this is not defined. Let me put it that way. It's very much open because people have their different styles. The end, however, the vision is that after everything, you should be able to develop your own personal leadership. You should be able to know how, to handle crisis, how to move. But most importantly, to me, what is very much important to me is that you need to be a leader in your field. My dream is that one person, at least one person from Black Tech Lead community should lead the next Elon Musk in Africa. And it is possible. That is it. And for me, I'm not going to force you. It's very much open, right? So you're going to be very much exposed to all these talks, labs, camps, travel, come back, do some wild things. And take courses. So if you want to take an ALS course through philanthropy, we have to pay for that and make sure that you are a leader in whatever field that you want to be, right? Doesn't that sound exciting? Or am I the only person who is excited here? Okay, so yeah, there's so many ways that you can keep in close contact with us, at least for now, because this is still a baby. And we are doing so much more in the background. You'll be seeing a lot more updates from us. And so you can just connect for now through our LinkedIn page, Black Tech Lead, Instagram page, Black Tech Lead, Google groups. We do have it where we share resources. And then, of course, the WhatsApp group some of us are on, right? Now we have the general community called the GLC, right? The Black Tech Lead is just the general thing we do, right? But the GLC is when you get to become the inner circle, right? And I'll tell you, you are not limited to only me. I am there to just encourage and show the way, including other people, right? So I'm not that kind of person where, like, I'll say that, oh, let me be your only mentor. I'm a very open person, right? I'm an extremely open person. However, the only thing I want to see is that you are growing. And if it's because your mentor is, what's his name? The former MTN CEO, I've forgotten the one who just handed over, is that guy. Because I want you to think that high, that's great. You are growing, and that's absolutely amazing, right? And so once you belong to the general community, the WhatsApp, you still benefit anyway. However, if you come to the inner circle, which is the main GLC, that is what I've explained. Like you're like the disciple, where I'll closely be working with you, work with you, and then we'll take it from there. In the future, Black Tech Lead has much more things that we want to do. We want to create, collaborate with high-level experts. And for me, one of the people that I really love is the ALX founder, that's Fred. People like that, people like maybe Jibodi Communications, these people, we're going to find a way to create some kind of, collaborations or partnerships where they create courses around their expertise, right? So aside the general leadership thing you take, you'll be, learning from masters of the game, and not just any village champion. No. We are very much careful about who we choose. So at this point, I'm going to say thank you. Do you have any question? I think that will be at least the end of my presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing. Yep. Okay, great vision. Thank you, Esther. Thank you. How can I get to be part of the inner circle? Okay, so of course there's an application form that I'll put into the WhatsApp group, or I'll share. You feel that I just want to understand how you think, because like I said, when you walk into an organization, give like a few hours, you will know who is ready to go, even if the person does not have the information, right? It was the same with me. Somebody saw me at a conference, like, girl, like, I want to work with you, come to my company, and so you will know who. And without giving anybody, I don't want to mention anybody's name here, but I met a young lady in women, she's here, so I met a young lady at I think Women Technique, and she was amazing. She walked in and said, I just want to learn. I want to volunteer. I want to do this. Such a person like this, I don't even have to give her applications, she's already part of the inner circle. I want people who are eager, people who want results, people who want to. And I told her, oh, I'll do anything to get you what you want, right? And I followed that, because anytime her thoughts come to my mind, I say, hey, how to do this for her, how to do that for her, like I was determined, right? And so once you apply, I just want to know like where you are in your journey and what you want to do. Of course, I'll send the link out, and then we'll take it from there. So thank you so much. Let me see. Nobody had a great vision. Thank you. Hidden Figures. Yes, Hidden Figures. Like, I love that movie. I think I should watch it again anyway. Yeah. Okay, so last words. Does anybody have anything before we close out? Past 3.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Joy.
Oh, okay. I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have attended this meeting today. And I really can't wait for what's next to come.
Wow.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
so much. I'm excited too. Thank you, Joy. Please, any other feedback? Okay. Thank you so much, Black Tech Lee, for the great initiative. Oh, thanks, Esther. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope we get on with something. Yeah, so there's a lot more that I didn't share because of time. This was just like a high level summary, but I hope I've been able to do some justice to the topic. And so, yay. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you. And so I think we are going to end this here because today is Saturday and we have to do other things. And so I look forward to, engaging with all of you. My only message, like Jenna said, yes, Africa's mindset can be changed. Diane also shared a lot more about finding your own voice. And of course, I also shared my leadership. We shared about innovation, the state of innovation. How can we be different in a very, kind of difficult part of the world, as some people like to call it. And I hope that you have learned something today in the 2 hours that we have spent here. So thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate your time and hopefully working with you in the future. There's a lot more in store. So just stay glued to our social platforms as you see the amazing things that we want to do in the space. So thank you and have a lovely day. Bye-bye. Yeah.